Hi, welcome to another edition of 5 and 5. I'm Katie Dunn. The books that we are talking about today are perennial rereads for me, and they are fun romps through the worlds in which they are set. First book we are talking about is Die for Love by Elizabeth Peters. It is the third book in her Jacqueline Kirby series, but you don't have to read the first two to enjoy this one. It was originally written in 1984, and if you remember the bodice ripper romances of that time, I think you'll enjoy this book. It is set at the Historical Romance Writers of the World Convention, and Jacqueline must discover who the killer is of a mean-spirited gossip columnist before the next person on the list is killed. The characters that populate this book are absolutely hilarious and fun-loving, and it's just a wonderful read. The next book that I'm talking about is Death at Wentwater Court by Carola Dunn. It is set in 1920s Britain, and you get to see what life was like at that time, just after World War I, and see how Britain was still trying to recover from it. Daisy Dalrymple, I'm sorry, it's a little hard to pronounce. She's the main character of this series, and she's a very sweet character, and if you enjoy cozy mysteries, I highly recommend this series as one to try. The next book is one of my all-time favorites, and completely never expected to like it, but I ran across a review of it in a website I used to read all the time, and the premise was so intriguing I had to go out and get it. And that book is The Eyre by Jasper Fforde. It is an intriguing mix of science fiction, alternative history, a little bit of romance, a lot of mystery. You can't go wrong with this book, it seems, especially if you're a fan of the classics. I personally am not, and so I know I'm missing a lot of the in-jokes in the series, but you have to give this a try. Thursday Next is a literary detective who must figure out why Jane Eyre is suddenly wandering around London and not populating her book like she should be. Thursday has the ability to jump into books and alter the course of the story if she so chooses. There is a this is a 4-volume series, and like I said, the first one is The Eyre. Must-reads. The next book that I'm talking about is an anthology of romance short stories, all by Lynn Kurland. Lynn writes time travel romances, primarily between medieval Scotland or England and present day. All of the stories in this anthology have interconnecting ties, as for this series of books, Lynn primarily writes about the de Piaget, McKinnon, and McLeod families. Love Came Just in Time. I cannot seem to pronounce this title. Is a fun read because Lynn has the rare ability to make you feel as if the short story is totally complete. A lot of authors, you are wishing that they would give you just a little bit more to the story, but with Lynn's, always and completely satisfying. This is a collection, as I said, of short stories that had been previously published in 4 separate volumes. Give it a try. The last book is The Cowboy and the Vampire by Clark Hayes and Kathleen McFall. This was an intriguing book. Lizzie Vaughn, I always forget her name, I don't know why, but she is an interesting character because she is totally New York, born and bred, deep into her bones. You can't take her out of New York, otherwise she'd die. Well, she goes on a story assignment out into the middle of nowhere Western America and discovers a man that she is just head over heels for. He lives in a trailer with his dog, and his horse is stabled outside, and that's his nearest neighbors for 20 miles. So the story is a little bit about how they learn to get together and work together and keep the relationship going. And what throws a kink into the works is that Lizzie is being sought after by two warring factions of vampires because she is the one that is going to help them survive into the future. And so Lizzie and her cowboy boyfriend have to figure out what to do when she doesn't want to leave New York, and then oops, she's turned into a vampire. World of New York Vampires meets Western Justice. This is a fun read. And that is it for today. Thank you for joining me. The titles once again were Die for Love by Elizabeth Peters, Death at Wentwater Court by Carola Dunn, Love Came Just in Time by Lynn Kurland, The Eyre Affair by Jasper Fforde, and The Cowboy and the Vampire by Clark Hayes and Kathleen McFall. Thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to bringing you more books in the future with 5 and 5. Have a great day.